So how does the A7IV stabilization compare to one of the best in the business? I don't know, let's see. What's up everybody? Today we're just trying to see how the A7IV stabilization options match up against the Panasonic G9, which has one of the best sensor stabilization options out there today. I mounted both cameras to the same set of rails so that I could get the most accurate comparison possible. Before we get started, in case you want to know, I used the Tamron 28-75 G2 lens on the A7IV, the Olympus 12-40 Pro for the unstabilized lens on the G9, and the Panasonic 12-60 f3.5-5.6 lens for the stabilized lens on the G9. For the first test, we have the A7IV clip shot at 28mm and the G9 clip shot at a 24mm equivalent but cropped in post to match the Sony's 28mm field of view. Both clips were shot in 30p with a 1/2000th of a second shutter. I know that shutter speed's a little high, but I didn't have my ND filter on me. I'm sorry. Both cameras are using only in-body image stabilization, also known as IBIS, without an optically stabilized lens. As you can see here, there's nothing to say, it's no contest. The G9 obviously wins hands down. For the next comparison, everything was kept the same, except that now both cameras are using a combination of IBIS and electronic image stabilization, also known as EIS. Once again here, the Sony really doesn't have a chance and the G9 runs away with it. Unfortunately, I didn't have a stabilized Sony lens, but I did have a Panasonic one, so I ran a couple more tests utilizing the G9's ability to increase stabilization by using the camera and lens stabilization simultaneously. First, a test with the G9 set to use IBIS and not EIS. Of course, the G9 wins again here, but it's really not a fair comparison because I didn't have a stabilized Sony lens. If I do manage to get my hands on a stabilized Sony lens, I'll make sure to run this test again for you. Next up, the G9 is set to use both IBIS and EIS along with additional stabilization from the lens. It should be noted that Panasonic does have many more stabilized lens options than Sony, which kind of sort of makes this a realistic scenario because not many people will have a Sony stabilized lens. I ran the first Sony with IBIS Clip through Catalyst Browse to see if that would help it catch up to the G9. After using Catalyst Browse, the Sony clip does have more of a crop than the G9 with IBIS Clip, which has no crop, but it's much more stable. Finally, I tried stabilizing the G9 with IBIS Clip in Final Cut to see how it compared to the Sony with IBIS Clip after using Catalyst Browse. I think things turn out pretty even here, but the Sony clip is still cropped in slightly more, which gives the advantage to the G9. While the A7IV's IBIS can't hope to compare to the G9's and a lot of other Micro Four Thirds cameras, Catalyst Browse can get you results that match or surpass all of the G9's in-camera stabilization options, but you're just going to have to deal with an additional crop. I hope you found today's video helpful. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy.